I can see it.
Okay. Well, there's two different places it is
Oh,
recording, so that's why I just wanted to make sure. So, one of them said it's not, and um, I will go ahead and admit that one too. Okay, we should be good now, and I need to approve that. So today, this is the Buzzworthy Book Bistro, and we're going to be talking about something that can make a huge difference in whether or not people find you. And I know some people are going to be joining us in the Zoom room, some will be joining live streaming. So I'm going to do my best to keep my eyeballs on all the places I need to keep my eyeballs on. And we'll talk about this. And I have someone in the studio with me right now. I have Laura Patterson. And Laura, you've written it's three books, correct?
4.
Four. Oh my gosh, I shortchanged you. I shouldn't do that. Um, and what I'm going to do is I just switched it so it should bring you on screen in the other screen when we're talking. So let's hope that works the proper way. And the reason why I started, and here comes another person. The reason why I picked this topic, I realized I used to be really afraid of the word metadata and all that it entailed. But I mean, I know that it was there and kind of in the background. But what I realized that it doesn't just apply to how you list your books. It also applies to a lot of other things that we're doing that make us discoverable. And the reason I just started thinking about this in a broader sense, a lot of authors don't want to know any of the behind the scenes stuff that makes their books get found. They just want their books to be, they want to write their books, publish their books, and everybody should read them. But the reality is that's not quite the way things work. And we have some new elements in our toolkit that we have to pay attention to now. So it used to be, well, before we had all of these large language models and the augmented intelligence, because that's what I call AI. I don't call it artificial because it's not intelligent. It really is a collection of predictable results. So it goes out and gets things, but it's not really thinking. It's getting closer, but we're not quite there. So I'm saying it's augmented, but we can use these tools to help people find us and make it easier. Plus, if you start with this idea that, well, what are some of the things that identify me as a person? I have a driver's license. I've got a social security number. I have an address. I have two telephone numbers. So that's how I want you to think about metadata. It's those kinds of pieces of information that are relevant to you and to your books. And when people know any one of those things, they probably can get in touch with you. Now, I also have an email address or two or three, or we're not even going to get into that because people who know me know it's a little bit of a rabbit hole that I've gone down. But you can find people if you know a little bit about them. But why not make it easier? Why not make it super simple for people to find you? And it makes a huge difference in how many books you sell. So I'm going to dive in and I've got a short presentation and then we'll do some Q&A. Now, this is the part I hope I do correctly. So hang on a second because I'm going to see if it works from one of the tools or if I have to go to the other one. So just a moment on that. And we're going to go. Ah, it worked. Yay. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen. I know, I'm so excited. I did a whole bunch of work ahead of time to be sure that I got it right. So this time I think it should be fine. So I'm gonna move a few things around so I can see what I'm doing as well. So I'm calling metadata a hidden lever because it really is. It's something that's like under the hood. Now, I don't know. I know my car starts when I, put my foot on the gas. But if you ask me how an engine works, I could not tell you how that works. But I can tell you about metadata, and I'll tell you how it influences whether or not people can find you. It's really designed to help all of these computers search information and serve you up to the people who are looking for you. Now, I think that's pretty super powerful, and it makes it simpler when you think of it that way. So you've got all of these goodies, but if you're not letting people know where you are or how to find you, that's when we get into trouble. So let's think about this. If someone went to find you, are you showing up or are you invisible? And is your book or books, are they visible or invisible? One of the things that can make a difference is, are you using the right terms? Are you using the kind of terms the people you want to find your stuff are using? Now we're getting some help these days because with natural language search, some of the old rules don't completely apply, but they haven't been pitched out the window. So we need to think about this. We need to think about what's happening with the metadata in your book descriptions. How are search engines like large language models, which we're going to just call AI for short right now, those don't necessarily know that you exist the way that, say, Google or Gemini or any of the other search engines would find you. You have to tell them about yourself. And this happened today. I was in a networking group and someone said, "Oh, I would have bought your service, but I didn't know you even had that." And how many times have you heard somebody say, "I just bought a book on," you name the topic, because they didn't know about your book. So you can help people find you with just a few little tweaks. So here's the real nuts and bolts. We want to make it easy so that whenever someone's looking for your content, they can find it. We want to make it so that your book title or titles comes up in the "you might also like." How AI, you've got to feed it some information so that your information comes up in a search. And when you do that, it leads to organic growth. And the more times people look for you, then you have suddenly started a flywheel and people will find you more easily. So this goes along with my bees method. And if you've heard me talk about this before, you'll just have to bear with me because I'll just do it very briefly. B is for brand. It's your message. It's the reason you exist. It's also how do the right people find you. And the first E is for expanding your reach. Metadata can help you do that because now people are discovering you because you made it easy for them. And that means on your book descriptions, on your websites, on your social profiles, any place that people can find you. You want to be sure that you're using similar language so that they can find you. And the second E is about engaging your readers. If you saw a description for a book and it didn't speak to you, you're probably not going to even give it a second glance. But if you are speaking the same language as your readers, as the audience, then they see themselves in that description and go, okay, tell me more. And the last piece of it is synchronizing your marketing. It's so that anywhere that I would find you, I'm going to be able to identify that it's you, that your messaging matches what I'm looking for, and that it's connecting all the dots. So it's making it a system, just like this circle here, where people are going around the circle, and that circle keeps expanding outwards. So it's really to your advantage to pay attention to that. So now let us zip on over, and we're going to look at the kind of results that you can have. With clients who maybe in the past they weren't being found, suddenly when I started doing my outreach, I was hearing from my audiences that they understood what I was saying, that they could see that I was adding value, and they could take action very simply. It wasn't confusing. It was pretty straightforward, and they could see, oh, I can do this. This isn't impossible. It makes sense to me. So this is kind of the tip of the iceberg. What shows up very easily, of course, is your book cover. But that's only one piece of it. The book cover and the book title, those are two very simple things that every book has. There aren't any books out there that I know of that are published that don't have those two things. But underneath, if you are publishing on any of the platforms where your book is being sold through a distribution channel, say through Ingram Spark, being in their catalog, it has something called an ISBN number. And that's a unique identifier. Just like my social security number identifies me and only me, unless somebody tries to steal my identity, the same thing is true with your book. Your book only has an ISBN number for each format that it's published in, and it doesn't belong to any other books. It only belongs to your book. And then below that, there are technical tags. So that could be the kind of the genre that you're in, the big categories, and then, going down deeper and deeper and deeper. And the more specific are the strategic signals. So when you start looking at the categorization of books, there's many layers. But one of the big tragedies is a lot of people go too broad. And if I just said, oh, my book's nonfiction, well, my goodness, that's like saying, oh, could you go pick a grain of sand up off of the beach, that specific grain of sand that you're looking for? You wouldn't be able to do that very easily. It would be a big miracle if you even showed up. So instead, what if you were giving people a roadmap, just like the bees, so that they can go find that flower that's got the pollen that they want? If you're doing that, then suddenly people can find you and find your books really easily. So this is what you want to do. Look at where there are some hidden gaps. Where are you showing up, but where should you be showing up and you're not? And once you start to look at that, then you can develop a strategy and you can start to expand the way that you are making your book visible. The keywords, the categories, and the messages. So just simply search on your book, but don't just use one tool to do that. I would start with the most ubiquitous one, even if you don't want to sell on Amazon. Take a look. Is your book showing up there? And where is it showing up? And what kinds of things are showing up around it? Because Amazon isn't in the business of helping you, it's in the business of selling things. So it wants to be successful and it's taking cues by what people are looking for and how many of those other books that are associated in the same categories as yours are appearing. And I just see Laura, let me bring this on. Let me see if I can bring this on. So, okay, your fast track, your business customer centric accelerate. You've got that perfectly where it should be. So people know what's in there and they know how to find you. So that makes a difference. And I really do appreciate that. And let me see if I can pop. Yeah, I'm going to bring that up on the stage too. So think about, I've got somebody waiting in the waiting room. Sorry, I missed out on that one. CJ is going to be coming in just a second. So we've got these clues that we're leaving. So think of it as pollen, think of it as breadcrumbs. You're making it so that people can follow your broadcast at the beginning, but then they can narrow it down till they can find you. So you're going to identify your gaps, you're going to develop a strategy, and then you want to think about how am I going to show up in front of the audience, but not just the human beings like us, those of us who are in the room, but for those computer tools that are also searching. And the reason why I'm including the AI tools is they don't just naturally find you. You've got to help them out. So this is how we're going to help them out. So once you've defined your keywords, think about what's your core message. What made you want to write that book? You probably have that information, or you should have that information on the back of your book. That should be think of it like for the movies, they call it a log line. This is the whole enchilada. This is why this book exists. This is why I'm doing it. And then you want to think about what are 5 to 7 primary keywords. So the book that I'm working on right now is about book marketing. So part of it's going to be talking about branding. It's going to be talking about engagement. It'll be talking about how you connect with people. And it'll be talking about how you can layer synchronizing your marketing activities. So those are going to be in there, but I've got a few other ones too. And then your tagline is something that's easy for people to remember. There's brain science behind this, but you might not know this. The reason why our phone numbers are seven, well, the main part of your phone number is 7, but it's actually 10 because you've got an area code and then you've got 7 digits. That's how many we can remember. But the best sentence structures are 7 to 9 words. And when you're doing email marketing, same thing holds true. So you see there's kind of a pattern that's evolving here. There's some very specific things you can do to make it easier. And there's things that you can do to just make it impossible for people to remember who you are. But you want to do the right things. You want to do the things that make sense. And these are the things that make sense. And then you want to have a short description that tells people, here's why you should be looking at this, and here's why it makes sense for you because you're going to get this value from this book. So that's, that's part of what we're doing here. We're making it simple and we're making it memorable. Now, I did not develop this framework. This came from the book Made to Stick. The two lovely brothers who came up with this idea that sticky ideas are successful. They're simple, they're unexpected, concrete, they are, sorry about that, they are credentialed, meaning that there's evidence saying that, yes, they are true, and there's an emotional component. We really buy not with our heads, we buy with our hearts. And then we're telling stories. So we're putting it all together. Our brains are wired to remember stories. So when you simply explain, here's my book and here's the twist, that's the unexpected. So it could be a book on marketing, but I'm going to tell you why mine's different because I use this bees framework. And I don't believe there's any other marketing book out there that talks about that. And then I'll tell you with evidence why it matters, why it is something that you can see. Here's a real result, and here's why it has value because there's third-party evidence saying yes, it does. That's where your book reviews come in. And why it will make your life better. That's part of the emotion. And it's sticky because I'm going to tell you a story about how this all works together. So it's kind of fun when you think of it that way. And so here is, we're starting to, look at the encapsulation of everything. Your metadata needs to live in your search results. It needs to be in your AI. Now, this is something you may not know how to do. How do you get an AI to know about you and your book? Because it's not looking for you. That's not what it does. But if you are doing research, and you should be, on competitive books, so you start to look and see, okay, so that here are the 3 to 5 books that are similar to mine, and here's how mine is different. You're starting to train AI models about you and your book. And then you start to use that information when you're posting on your website, in a blog, on any of the platforms that you're on. So you can say, oh, here's my book and it's similar to, I'll be very bold. I'll say my book is similar to Joanna Penn in that we both believe in artisan assisted crafting of our work. We're forward thinking and we really love to educate people. So suddenly the AI models are going to start learning that, but there's not just one. So you may not start with all of them at once, but think about the ones that you use on a daily basis or weekly basis. So you want to train them to know here's who you are and here is information about your books. And you want to let the people that are in your world or that you want to be in your world know about you and your books. So these are the places you want to make sure that your metadata is living. Your website, your title tags, the meta descriptions. One of the best tools to help you understand this is called Yoast SEO. And Yoast is a website tool that helps make sure that you're putting in the information that will help your stuff be found. So it's not enough just to write it. You have to be discoverable. In your book listings, same thing holds true. And then on social media. So you keep layering these same things. And if you are a guest on a podcast or you're a guest speaker somewhere, the same thing holds. You want to make sure that you're using your particular keywords, telling stories, and that you have it in print so that the computers can find you too. Let me jump over here. So this is what you're trying to do. Let people find you. You want to use the algorithmic recommendations. I love that word. That sounds so sophisticated. When you've got more than 100 reviews on Amazon, that's when the algorithm really kicks in. It's not going to do it below that. And I will tell you the truth. When I started back in about 2000, I think 12-ish, it used to be 25 reviews would do it. And now it's over 100. And why do you think that is? Well, truth of the matter is because we have now about 3 million new books every year about that. And Laura's just telling me here that she has over 120 reviews for her book. That means her book has sold. There's verification of that. And because of that, her books show up. So you are going to use those AI models. You need to give them information. And then you need to keep telling your audience about you, because the more times people see you and search for you, then more people will do that too. And I even know audiences that have been influenced by doing something in real life. What if you walked into a bookstore and you asked for your book and they might not have your book? Well, you do it. You ask other people to do it, and pretty soon they're going, well, maybe we should check this out. So that's what you're doing in real life. That's what you're doing with your computer terms. And then everything works together. You have consistent messaging. People can identify you, the book cover, they know your brand, your content works for them. And no matter where they're looking for you, they're going to find you. So if you're active, I'm active on LinkedIn more than anything else. People can find me. They're going to see me. They're going to see the fact that I use bees in my articles, in my newsletters. That makes a difference. So I'm getting to be known as, the bee lady, the queen bee. So how are you positioning yourself so it's easy for people to think about you, remember you, and find you again? And here is a perfect example. When you go on Amazon or Google, people are looking for you to see what else they can find out about you. Maybe they want to see, are you legit? What have other people said about you? And here's a perfect example for me. As I said, when I started using this kind of conversational storytelling, this is what this was feedback I got from the California Writers Club, that I know exactly what I need to do now. So you know what to do and you can go take action. Because we've all been in webinars or we've been at presentations and you think, oh, I'm all excited. But then you go back to try to do anything and you're going, I don't know what I'm doing. What did they have in mind? So I want to make it simple. And this is why it's urgent, because here's where we were. SEO was okay in 2020. AI started to really, now AI's been around forever. If you've used Microsoft Word, and I've used Microsoft Word since it didn't even have a version number, AI has always been baked in. It's just gotten better. But in 2023 rather, that's when people really started going, oh, what can I do with this? This is pretty cool. And today we've just seen a massive shift, not only with what we are doing, but all of the retailers and distributors and wholesalers. Everybody's using search to better target what they're serving up based on what people are looking for. So this, if you might want to take a screenshot of this one, and I will be happy to send out a copy of all of this information to you. But think about this. Check this out and do it on a quarterly basis because we're in a very rapid period of advancement right now. So take a look at your title and subtitle. Look at your author brand. And as I said, it's everywhere you show up in print, audio, video, on the social platforms, on your own protected sites. Look at file names. Be deliberate. When you're saving things, when you are organizing your work, make it simple, but have a framework that you can repeat whether you are on a computer, looking in a file drawer, going to the library. It should be the same. And then each time you are adding content, are you following your own guidelines? Making sure that somewhere in that content you are using your keywords because you want to be known for your expertise. And this is something interesting. So, social cards, that's really looking at maybe the imagery that you're using, your banners on your social platforms, but hashtags, they're starting to go away. And right now, if you do use them, don't over sprinkle. Think of it like a bit of seasoning. Don't use more than 3 because if you do, you are at risk of being accused of spamming. And I think they're probably going to just kind of disappear. Hashtags are more for you to organize your information rather than how they used to be used for the discoverability part. So be very gentle with those. They are not as critical as they once were. And this is what you can do and what I can do for you. We can go through, do a visibility audit, look at your strategy, see if you're in the right places. Do you need to recategorize yourself, including and up to reimagining and re-entering the information that is available with your ISBN numbers. And then if you want to go further, we'll create a custom blueprint. So that is concluding this part. And let me get that off the screen and I'm going to come back over to me. So that's where we are right now. And I'd love to hear from you and see what questions you might have. And if you've got a question, just go ahead and come off mute and ask away. Oh, did I dazzle you or scared you to pieces? Was this helpful? Did this give you a better idea about what metadata is and what it can do for you? I'm just curious. Laura, how I know you've had a very deliberate path all along. So, did you learn anything new today?
I don't know about new. It's always good to be refreshed, and this was helpful. I think for me, I really want to know what are some practical things I should be doing that I'm not doing. And so I'm not really sure what action steps I should be taking. I have a pretty good handle on the keywords. The book has a good number of reviews. It comes up in searches. So I'm not sure of an action step for me and what, if anything, I should do differently than what I'm already doing.
Okay. Have you had any experience where perhaps you wanted to get into another or maybe you wanted to grow your audience a little bit? I know you've just recently started revamping your personal branding, but have there been opportunities that you would like to use your existing content in a way that you might not have done before?
That's a really good question. I don't know if I know the answer. I don't know what I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out is there something I should be doing differently? I mean, Fast Track is on both the company website
Right.
and now on the personal website. It's my book
Yeah.
under authors. It has great reviews. Those people that I know personally, I have put on both sites to give them some exposure because why not let them have some of the limelight
Yeah.
and links back to them because they are awesome to have written such nice reviews for me and
Yeah.
just out of the blue. So that meant a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not really, I guess I'm not really sure, Judy, and so maybe Rod or CJ or some of the others have been doing something specifically. I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really sure what I should do next.
Ah, okay. Um, well, one of the things I do know is now Laura has been published in a lot of other places, not just her books, but she's done articles. She's been published in, she's an authority, a definite authority. So there's ways that you can link your existing books with those articles. And one of the things that a lot of folks do, a lot of authors, they don't refer back to things they've already done. And that's a mistake because you want to not only talk about things when they're, brand new, but maybe something that you did in the past, there's a new take on it. There's something different that you can add value because maybe something's changed. It could be the market's changed. It could be that your focus has changed slightly. So you can say, when I first published this, here's what was the most important thing. But because of could be a world event. It could be something that's changed in the way that we do business that you could refresh that and share that. So that would be one of the things that I might suggest. But I'm just curious, I am curious about how CJ and how Rod, how are you using this or was this like brand new information?
Yeah, pretty much.
Which one?
Uh, I still don't quite understand it all,
Okay.
but it's a little less muddy,
Okay.
a little more clear.
Yeah.
So
The best advice I can give you, and I'm taking it to heart myself, because I tend to want to do everything all at once without regard to how long does it really take. And so I'm breaking things up into smaller pieces and just trying one thing. So I maybe would just look at your book titles. Are they showing up where you expect them to? Are there other books that are similar to yours? Have you given reviews to other books that maybe you came across as you were creating your books? And that, seriously, this is something that is underutilized as well. And it does go into the metadata, as I was saying. If I am researching my content and I give a tip of my hat to someone else who might be, higher up on the food chain, well, then my name is being associated with them. So when I called out Joanna Penn, I did that very deliberately because she's got a huge global audience. Lots of people know her. Not as many people know me. But because we actually are friends, and I will be seeing her in person for the first time because she's coming from England to Author Nation. So I'm leveraging my relationship, but I'm also saying, hey, did you see her latest article? Did you listen to her podcast? Did you check out her new book? That gives you an opportunity to put yourself in the limelight, but not in a self-serving way. You're connecting the dots. And there is a phenomenon. It you get a picture taken of yourself with a celebrity, suddenly that light is on you too. So you might try that. You might try that, taking a look at other books that are like yours that you want to be, you want to be in that same pantheon. And if you haven't already given a review, you could give a review. So that's an easy thing to do. Or to follow those authors on different platforms that you already engage with. Does that sound reasonable to you?
Yeah, let me give that a try. Of course, I know Judy Baker.
Well, thank you, my dear. I appreciate that. What about you, CJ? What did you discover today?
Then I'm lost.
Oh no, we don't want you lost. Okay, we want to get you out of the woods.
Well, I don't really even understand what metadata is. I mean, I have to look back over my notes, and I apologize for being late.
Honey,
I
don't
couldn't
worry.
find the link.
Don't worry about that. Okay, when
Okay.
you published your book, do you have your book with you, next to you, anywhere near there?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
right next to me.
Okay, your
So what it is.
ISBN number is part of your metadata, and when that was
Oh.
purchased, there's a very ugly form on Bowker, which is my identifiers, and you have to fill in all this information, which includes the category, the subcategory, the title, the subtitle, a little bit about what's in the book, a little bit about you, who else helped you produce the book. All of that is metadata. So just think of it's just information. Metadata refers to a collection of information.
Okay.
Those things that refer to your book, that's metadata. Now, you have metadata associated with you as a person. And so my illustration was my driver's license, my social security number, my phone numbers, my websites. Those are all things that belong to me and only to me. So they're unique, but my name is not unique. We all know that. There's a gajillion Judy M. Bakers, and there's a gajillion Judy M. Bakers who are authors. So, I know that. But there's not another Judy M. Baker who is exactly like me. So how you distinguish yourself is by those unique things that describe you or describe your book. So that's what metadata is. And it's what computers look for, the search engine. So we'll start with Google because it's the granddaddy here. So when Google first started, we would type in things and hopefully we'd get back what we wanted, but we didn't always get it. So we had to learn how to talk like the computer in order to get the results that we wanted. Now we're not having quite that same situation, but at the same time, if I just put in something super general, if I say, oh, tell me who lives in Sonoma County, that is not a very specific request, is it? So your metadata is helping make it clear exactly who you are, what your book is about, and why it matters to people. So you're giving clues. Metadata is just simply clues, but you're helping the computer models find you like a needle in a haystack. You don't want to be that. You want to be uniquely you and only you. But the more information you provide, the easier it is for people to then locate you because you've said, oh, here's what my book's about. Here's what I write about. Here's something about me that is only about me. And the frequency with which you publish, which is not just your books. And this is why I was saying that Laura has a big body of work. She's got pages and pages on her website talking about all the different places where she's published articles or where she's given a speech, where she's done a presentation. Those all are data points, and you collect them all together, and then you've got your metadata. So don't think of it as one specific thing. It's a lot of little things, but you can help people find you by giving them those clues.
Okay, great.
Okay, is that a little bit easier?
Much better. Yes, I get it now.
Okay. And it's true, it's not just for authors, it's for businesses as well. And we all know, I mean, this is something that I think is so funny. Every once in a while, we'll be watching, we don't watch a lot of commercial television at my house, but every once in a while we are, and we're going, what were they selling? Not a clue. They did weird stuff and had people on there, and you're going, what was the product? What did they want? What action did they want me to take? So you want to be deliberate. You're having a conversation. You want to help people out. You want to let them get to know you, and you want to help them find you. But I'm going to turn it over to you all to see if there's other things you would like to know about, or if you've got questions that I might be able to help you with. Anything you're wrestling with. Yeah.
Should I have filled out the Bowker information? I never did that.
Well, someone filled it out, or you wouldn't have gotten your ISBN number. You might go on. Did you publish it yourself, or did you work with someone to help you with that?
No, I published it myself.
Okay, then you want to go into your Bowker account. Oh, and I am going to tell you some secrets that I found out. And I found out this the hard way because I didn't know it when I first did this, because this was a long time ago. When I first I was working on a book for a client. I thought, okay, so you go in and you fill out the information on Bowker. Well, every time you make a change, it kind of is taking your book out of circulation for a minute or two, could be up to 24 hours, because it has to repopulate all the places that are looking for that information. So I would just go into your account, look at what you have in all of the categories, all the fields, because it asks some very specific questions, and then make a plan that you're going to go in at one time and make any changes that you need to make. If you need to make changes, you may or may not need to. But today, Amazon only looks at 3 categories. It used to be you could do up to 10, but you can only do 3. And that's because there's so much stuff now. So there's 2 places I want you to take a look at. And one of them is your information in My Identifiers, which is owned by Bowker. The other is to take a look at the Book Industry Study Group catalog, because it lists all of the big categories and all the subcategories. If you feel like your book is in the right place, great. But could it be more narrowly defined? So like I said, fiction and nonfiction, those are 2 giant categories. Well, in nonfiction, we have psychology books, we have self-help, we have how-to, we have prescriptive nonfiction, we've got memoir, we've got biographies, we've got autobiographies, and that's just a tiny taste of that. So you want to be sure that your book is as narrowly defined as possible, and that over time you may decide you want to shift things a little bit. Whether you just want to shift it, you may want to shift it in Bowker, but you don't have to. You may want to shift it on Amazon. The number of clients I've had who worked with an assisted publishing company who didn't put their book in the right category, almost every single one of them. And the reason was they knew what they wanted, they communicated, but the reception on the other side, it was like having static on the line. They weren't listening. So they miscategorized. Now, I'm a former librarian. I was a student librarian. I wasn't I wasn't a full-time librarian, but I was a student librarian. And one of the things that I learned very early on, our job as the students who worked at the library, we had to refile the books. And if a book wasn't in the right place, our library was using the Dewey Decimal System. If the book was not in the right spot, it was in essence lost because people couldn't find it again. And that happens today with books when they are not in the right place. If they're not, if they're in too broad a category, they're not easily found. One of the strategies for getting seen and, ranking higher up in your book sales and where you are when people are looking for you, it's being more specific rather than general. So take a look at it's BISG. BISG is the Book Industry Study Group. Take a look at those categories. It's a massive amount, and it was started to help people better to be able to better find and get listed where they need to be. Amazon's done that too, but they have more broad categories. But take a look. If there's a book that is selling well and it's similar to yours, see how they have themselves listed. And would your book be better served to be, to shift that a little bit? But you can always change things. None of those things are stuck in stone. That's the nice thing about it. You can always make it better. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Anything else, y'all?
Yeah, I guess the first step is to get the ISBN.
Yep.
So what's the best way to do that?
Well, there's a couple of things you can do. Some of the publishing companies will include that in your publishing package. But then that ISBN is not going to just be associated with you. If you're planning to write more than a book, then it would be a good idea for you to buy your own ISBNs, and you can go to My Identifiers and you can purchase them. If you are a member of different organizations, like the Bay Area Independent Publishers Association. If you're a member of the Independent Publishers Association, then you can get a discount when you go to buy your ISBN numbers. And they sell them one by one, or they sell them in blocks of 10. I think it's 10 or 100. And every format, every print format, every physical format has an ISBN associated with it. So an ebook doesn't technically need an ISBN number, but most authors choose to have one because they may not only be selling on Amazon. Amazon assigns an ASIN number, which is an Amazon identifying serial number. So if you were going to do I'll give an example: ebook, print book, hardback, large format, paperback, or hardback. Each one of those would have its own ISBN number. So a single book might have multiple ISBN numbers associated with it for each format, but it's still the same book. Whereas with my Social Security number, only me, and there's only one of those. But you don't have to buy them all at once. But if you buy them in a block, you save a little bit of money doing that. Now, the folks in Canada and Australia don't have to buy them. They get them for free. But in the United States, you got to buy your own. But lots of information is available if you go on the Bowker website. It's BOWKER. and it'll walk you through that. But they have one of the ugliest interfaces on the planet. It looks like it was written, the code was written in like the 1800s. That's how awful it is. But it gets the job done. But it is important if someone's going to buy your book, if it's a retail, sorry, let me back that up a little bit. If a bookstore is going to buy your book, they will buy it most likely through the Ingram catalog. And so they need to know exactly what to order. If a university, if a school is going to buy your book, or a library, they need to have that ISBN number. So it's worth it if that's a market that you want to go into. Most retail bookstores will not buy your book if it has an Amazon number. Now that isn't strictly 100% true, but most of the time it is true. And I'm just looking at the time here. We're almost at 3 o'clock. So any last words or questions that I can help you with?
So that's Bowker.com?
Yeah, Bowker. I think it is Bowker.com. It might be Bowker.org. Let me check that.
Well, I can try.
There we go. Actually, just type in my identifiers, and that'll bring it up for you too. It's the same site, but that's usually the front facing part of it. I think I can.
What was the independent publisher?
Oh, it's IBPA.
Okay.
IBPA Online is the organization. The Bay Area Independent Publishers is an affiliate of theirs, and they have a lot of services. So there's some discounts for authors, publishers, folks in the industry, and they offer a lot of good things. And they do a yearly conference, and next year it's going to be in Portland. So I think I'll probably go back to that. I've gone to it a couple of times. I guess I've gone to it about 3 times. So it's a good one. Yeah.
So I had one last question. What's the status of the Moon Shadow anthology?
It's in process, and I'll talk to you about that offline if you don't mind.
Okay. No, that's fine. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard anything.
Nothing bad has happened other than I kind of I'll be very frank about this. I just had a lot of stuff on my plate all at the same time, which I didn't anticipate. So it's in my little hot hands, and I'm getting it out there. So you'll hear as soon as you'll hear. No news is good news at this point.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering. So no, that's fine as long as it's in the works.
Yep.
No.
It is.
No rush, no pressure. Just
okay. Well,
take your time.
I'm doing my best with that. Well, with that.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah. With that, I think I've covered everything I was planning to cover today, and I hope that was helpful. And just do a little research, see how you're showing up, and I think you'll start to see changes as you give more information so that people can find you. And you are responsible. Now, authors, even those who are still working with traditional or hybrid publishers, you need to be responsible for making sure it's easy to find you, and just a little bit at a time. Don't try to do it all at once.
No.
It's pretty.
No, I'm gonna do step 1.
All right, my dear. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I will see you all again soon. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.